Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 241, and today we're doing Battle in the Foundation's Gauntlet. And so, if you need a little bit of a break from the champion's strength, a little bit of break from the Darkened Saga World Ender, a little bit of a break from all the world's coverage, then we have this here for you in the Foundation's Gauntlet. And so I do concede that it's a bit of an awkward time for this Gauntlet to be here. There's a lot of exciting things going on in Runeterra that aren't the Gauntlet right now. I could definitely see you putting this on the back burner, but I think this is an important time to try and get the 4 check marks, the 4 prime glories, coming up to the Last Chance Gauntlet. Since the Gauntlet's been around for so long, I suspect that there's going to be a lot of people that have the 4 prime glories right before seasonals, and it should close out the qualifications pretty quick. Now, in the past, I don't feel like that completely mattered. There wasn't a large enough number of people participating in the gauntlets for it to hit that break point, but I think that there is a valid point of concern in that the doors close quickly, given that so many people should have 4 check marks coming into the event. And so we're going to try and get our check marks. That's what we're here for today. Hopefully we can help you get there as well, if that's part of your goals and aspirations. And so the thing I like to take into battle in these Foundations Gauntlets are 2 Harrowing decks and then an Ashe deck. And so the idea with this is we're going to ban Jinx Draven. I don't think there's enough aggro decks in the format to really devote a bunch of anti-aggro stuff into your lineup. So we just ban Jinx Draven and then don't really dedicate a lot of drains and heal and Vile Feasts and the like into our lineup. If Jinx Draven isn't there, we look to ban the Anivia Shadow Isles deck. The next piece of the puzzle is if the opponent is playing triple Shadow Isles, that's where the Harrowing decks come in. The big pain point and component of the triple Shadow Isles lineups is the Ruination, and we look to counter the Ruination with the Harrowing. And so we do have those 2 Harrowing decks. If the opponent bans one, we can bring the other one against their triple Shadow Isles lineup. The next piece is we are playing Ashe Katarina. We like to try and take that up against our opposing mid-rangey kind of fair decks or their go tall decks. And so the mid-rangey fair decks like Elites or the go tall decks like Fiora Shen, having access to all of the Frostbites and the Calling Strike Frostbite package works out quite nicely. And so, to get you familiar with the deck list before we jump in, Ashe Katarina, no changes here since the last go around with these. We have left Katarina in this deck. I was curious if I wanted to move Katarina to our Nox and Harrowing deck, but my kind of thought on this is that if we're playing, say, 10 matches, I think that we'll probably play the Nox and Harrowing deck once or twice, and then we'll probably play the Ashe deck 4 or 5 times. And so I really want to push the power level into the Ashe deck, given that we're going to be playing it so much more frequently. And so she has remained here. Otherwise, I think the list is pretty well tuned and in a pretty good space. Sometimes I feel like there's just not enough spells in it, and so I could see an argument for, say, cutting a House Spider for a spell or a Trifarian Glory Seeker for a spell. But I think this lineup or this list is pretty solid. If not 100% of the way, then about 95% of the way. So very, very strong things here. In terms of the other Noxus deck, we are playing the Noxus Harrowing deck here with the big Overwhelms, but also with Elise. And so the Spiders package here is still relevant and quite strong. Elise is one of the strongest champions that you can play in the game. 5 cards between Elise and the Harrowing shouldn't be too much to mess up our allegiances with the Basilisk Rider. And this has a nice aggro curve to it, a strong Overwhelm late game, and then the Harrowing if we need a little bit of help to close things out. Very powerful list and very strong. Again, we would love to have Katarina in this list, but again, I think that since we're going to play her so much more frequently in the Ashe deck, that it's okay to leave her out of the mix here. Last deck is our Tryndamere deck. I'm a big fan of the Tryndamere Overwhelms. This is a more mid-rangey idea of a Harrowing deck. It still has the big Overwhelms in it, but has a little bit of card draw. It has all of the +1/+1 cards in it between the Avarosian Outriders and the Omen Hawks and the what? Oh shit! We took that. We took the Avarosian Hearthguard out, but it still has a lot of bonus attack elements to it. and it really helps kind of churn and grind on to the late game. The last change I did make to this deck is I'd been very unhappy with Avarosian Trapper. I went ahead and took those out, replaced it with 1 Starlit Seer, 1 Battle Fury, and 1 Glimpse from Beyond. And so kind of in the same vein of some of these other decks to where we felt like we just needed like a little bit more card advantage, we can pick up 1 there with the Glimpse Beyond. The Battle Fury gives us a good game closer, and then the Starlit Seer is just the best unit that's left over in that space. I know we aren't playing tons of spells here, but as we are in Foundations only, you're just really limited in your options, and the Starlit Seer is the turd with the most nuggets of corn in it, if you know what I'm saying. And so the single copy there makes the cut. And so that's the list. Let's head on into battle, see if anybody else is out here turning off the World's coverage, turning on the Foundations Gauntlet. We'll see what's out, see what's up, see what's on. You should go check out that World's coverage, though. If you can't watch it live, go and turn on the VOD. Watch it a little bit later. Help support that community. If you're into the competitive scene and you want competitive things to be there, you have to at least put forth a little bit of effort to help support those things and push them along. At the bare minimum, you can turn on the stream and mute it, right? At least give it that view. Help it push up the ranks of what's available in the Twitch rankings, and so it's not that hard to do, just a little bit. Okay, and so with this lineup here, not a lot that I'm actually worried about. I'm looking towards the Elise Darius as our ban. I'm fine with all of our decks up against Ashe Garen. The last wild card here would be the Ashe Braum deck, which I think I'm also okay to take our Ashe deck against. And so I'm good with our harrowing decks against any of this, and then I feel reasonably fine with Ashe Katarina against whatever he brings. Cool. So we get to play Tryndamere. People don't give Tryndamere enough respect, I don't think. I think he's a really powerful bro, doing a lot of nice things, and I appreciate the work that he does for us out here, living the high life. All right, off we go. Let's see. We'll hang on to our fresh Starlit Seer, the newest addition to the deck, the cheap bro coming in to fill out our curve. Let's see what we can do. Developed a nice little curve here now. A 2, a 3, a 4, a 5. What more could you need? Omen Hawk came to the party just a touch too late, my friend. That's okay. It's okay. All right, so Braum Ashe along with the Cursed Keeper. Interesting. Wonder how many sacrifice elements are going to be a part of this. Just go ahead and get this stuff off of the board. It's tough to say like how much sacrifice stuff they're going to play. It's tough to make a real distinction right now, how heavy we want to go into this, but usually taking away their sacrifice effects is the way you want to go about this. Now, slightly awkward. I did assume that our Rhymefang Wolf was going to be able to kill the Escaped Abomination. I did a little whoopsies. He used to be a 3-2, now he's a 2-3. I was happy to make that trade, but a little bit of a problem. But we are in a spot here. If he passes, I'm fine to just pass it right back. He's not doing too much with his mana right now, and just that big overbank really just stops us from attacking with the Outriders, and so I feel like that was a pretty strong go. So again, we typically have to worry about cards like the Ruination, but given that we have the Harrowing in hand, it shouldn't be causing nearly as much of a problem. And now, interesting. We'd love to get this Rhymetusk Shaman off of the board. How much do we really want to devote into that, right? We have the Harsh Winds to throw at it. It's probably a reasonable time to start going for it. Let's do this. Let's bring in the Omen Hawk. Got a cat that wants to hang out. Hang on. Oof. Here we go. Says, "What up, Gauntlet folk? I'm here to chew on cords, dig claws into some legs." But no, I think this will be okay. We'll see if he adds anything to the board. We should have a good set of attacks. even if he does, even if he doesn't. He might just be trying to line up the harrowing here, which is fairly reasonable for us. All right. I can't suspect there's going to be too many more good harsh winds we'd be getting anyways, right? He doesn't seem to be developing a tall board, right? We'd like to say hit a 5-drop and a 6-drop with the harsh winds and have something cool happen from there, but he doesn't seem like, I mean, I'm not entirely certain what he's building towards. It feels like he's building towards the Ruination, but that was kind of an odd Omen Hawk. He's got to be doing this, right? If he's starting to... Oh, okay. Interesting. I don't recommend this block. I guess there's a world where you have some combat tricks and you want to maybe prevent a point of damage, but typically that block just does nothing, right? It only goes bad. It only goes worse from there. If we have cards, we now get to interact with the Escaped Abomination. Okay. Sure thing, MCV 100. What you got, a Tavern Keeper? Aight. There's our boy. There's the thunder. There's the heat. Old Tryndamere ready for battle.
Faster than my arrow?
Dude's got Ashe. He might be able to flip her here, but I'm going to say probably not. We should still be in a reasonable space to get the Scar Maiden Reaver on board. So now he needs like a Flash Freeze and the Ashe attack just to shut down our Reavers. And then we could potentially, well, we would have really needed like a preemptive Brittle Steel onto Ashe if we wanted to, say, try and take her down with a Rhymefang Wolf. Okay, doesn't seem like he has any sacrifice elements, at least at this point. We can let this Cursed Keeper stick around, and we should be getting pretty good combats on this next turn. Look at that. Look at the size of that Tryndamere. Says, what up, fam? I'm huge. 1 Omen Hawk, 1 Starlit Seer, +3/+3 from the Outriders. That's good stuff, bro. Winter's Breath. Ugh. Okay. Well, it's at least good to know what his play it slow angle was there. I thought it was the Ruination. It turns out it's that thing. That's okay. So let's see. I do worry about getting lethal next turn. I guess we have enough health at this point to where it's not ultra critical. We can Brittle Steel at least a small friend if we need to. You can play 1 card after a Crystal Arrow. Okay. I mean, the Crystal Arrow doesn't shut down the Reavers. You would typically want to Crystal Arrow Tryndamere and then Flash Freeze all of our small guys, but you know, we still got a little bit of something here.
This is the power of an Iceborn.
United, nothing can stop us.
All right, really good looking open attack for next turn. Again, I don't think he can lethal us here. You got a lot of thunder coming in for next round. If this is the attack he brings, we're just going to take it. Well, we can't just block Ashe. It's just a matter of are we willing to give up a Reaver for a Flash Freeze, which doesn't sound great. We could then sacrifice it to a Glimpse Beyond and maybe pick up the unit that we just boosted with the Outriders. We could play most of our units at that point. Okay. No Ashe attack. Sure.
Prove yourself. Bold, aren't you?
Like whatever causes a problem here, that would be like a Battle Fury, right? I don't think we have to worry about Battle Fury. I think we'll be okay. Now, do we want to Brittle Steel shatter any of this stuff away? I don't think so either. It's just tempting to bring in the Glimpse Beyond. I think this is where we want to go. See if we can't just pick up another fierce or another Overwhelm. Like, as it stands at this point, the Starlit Seer is not going to be dealing any combat damage next turn. But we could potentially pick up something here. And now the world gets interesting, right? We have the double Shatter for Ashe, and then we have this Battle Fury for next turn. I'm on board with that Glimpse Beyond. That turned out pretty okay. See ya. Now, there's a pretty reasonable chance we don't have lethal. If he has like a Harsh Winds here, he can most certainly shut down our attack, but I like it. I like where we're at right now. Say, have you met my friend Battle Fury? Oh, if he's throwing blockers down in front of Tryndamere, then we're at least okay in that sense, right? If he has a Flash Freeze, he's the first target. All right. Neg 24 into 19. That sounds all good. We boosted up our weakest unit down here right now. I could see an argument for boosting the Scar Maiden Reaver because it doesn't have a blocker in front of it, but I think this is okay. Right, because then if he'd taken down the Reaver with the Vengeance, then the Escaped Abomination would be gone. But we still have an answer to the Abomination in the Brittle Steel. I think this is all well and good.
There it is. Gotcha.
Battle Fury. Greatest card ever made. I love Battle Fury so much. Don't get enough opportunities to play it. All right. The Yeti, much bigger than the Wild Claw. I did the mathematics. 9-9 is bigger than 7-4. I have to pause the video after this. One of the greatest things to come out of COVID has been the online grocery ordering. So you just go online, you type in your order, you send it off into the Nether, and then you come back a little bit later, and about 2 hours, you just go pick it up. It's so nice. They're texting me. They're saying, "Bust, we don't have your organic tortilla chips. Will you eat the regulars?" I will. It's okay, fam. But this space here with the Avalanche, the idea with this is we're going to weaken up all of his units, so we get to essentially deal overwhelm damage with the Avalanche. So we attack with everybody. He Harsh Winds 2 guys. He blocks their 2 remaining 4 power units, but we did that extra kind of 4 damage with the Avalanche and hopefully get to cruise out and close out the game from there. So, good stuff. All right, don't worry. I was a little worried. It was my my caffeine drinks that they were out of. You gotta have your caffeine for the week. I don't drink coffee. I get those little drink mix things that you just pour in your water. They're out of the flavor that I offered up. Had to be very specific. Caffeine, please. I gotta get my fix, man. I can't just be going through the day sober, if you will. But all right, reasonable set here. This is a fairly easy ban, right? We don't have Jinx Draven. The next one up is the Shadow Isles of Nivea. That's an easy one to take. And this remaining stuff is what I'm fine to be bringing Ashe up against, right? I don't entirely know what Shadow Isles Garen is, what Shadow Isles adds to Garen, but that's probably some kind of mid-rangey deck. We're fine with Ashe, and then we have tons of answers to Teemo coming out of this deck. I'm not sure if this is some kind of, I assume it's some kind of really aggressive number with Teemo and then a bunch of spiders and burn, but we have reasonable answers to a lot of their early game plays. All right, so I could see an argument for getting rid of the Glory Seeker here, right? We're on the even attacks, and so we can't effectively use this here in the early game, but as a matter of filling out the curve and having it available on turn 3 along with Katarina, I was okay with it.
2, 3, 4.
So we can look to flash freeze the Teemo if he doesn't open. I don't suspect that this is a heavy puff cap stack, but now I immediately changed my mind. I changed my tune now. If he's playing Clump of Wumps, then this most certainly is. And so let's go ahead and take the flash freeze onto Teemo. Just stop him from getting the Nexus Strike. Move on into the next turn.
Let the bloodshed begin.
Now we got this sweet Katarina for the Blade's Edge. Point it right at Teemo. Say, I got you, dog. Mystic Shot, anyone? Nope. Beautiful, beautiful.
They'll never know what killed them.
Battle Academics, bro. University of Battle Academia. Check that out. Do you get new lines? You want me to lead the Assassin Club? Uh-oh. She killed him. She killed the president. Look out, guys. Look out, guys. All right, but not bad. Not a bad spot. His attack's terrible. We're starting to build up a nice board. Katarina's here, ready to party if we want. We do have the double,
Just the place.
the double Glory Seeker along with the Harsh Winds. There's a lot of really powerful things we can start to pull off here. And so I feel like our Katarina should just be safe, right? I mean, I think we can play Katarina and just block Elise, and then if he sends it back to us on the next turn, then great. If he's done doing things, I'm more than fine with that. All right.
Going somewhere.
So I'm gonna throw it down like this. There shouldn't be combat tricks coming out of this. The only realistic one that they should have would be the Shadow Isles trick, but. If he's going to come in and do something weird, I want that something weird to go on the unit in front of Elise. And so if that's going to happen, we don't want Katarina in front of that Elise. Don't do weird stuff to me, bruh. All right, I suspect we're just going to try and get some width this turn. So we'll add in the Rhymefang Wolf, see how he reacts. We can follow up with the House Spider, and then depending on what units he has, if it's a Chump Wump or whatever, we can pivot out to using Brittle Steels or getting the House Spider, whatever. I'm fine with a trade at this point. We have a lot of raw power going on here with the Ashe and the Katarina, and so it should be tough for him to really get ahead of us. All right, Broheim. I'm ready to party now. I'm going to start dropping these Katarinas every turn.
Come closer. I don't bite.
Oof. I was gonna say this is gonna be lame. I can already tell. you don't have to tell. You don't have to bring anything forward. I already know this is gonna be dumb. But where'd our Brittle Steel go? This gives us the opportunity to go ahead and get ahead of this combat. Since we got the rally from our Katarina, just take everything down. He only has 1 mana now. If he has a Teemo, then you got me, dude. You got me. But it seems like that should be a fairly uncommon play. All right, looking good now. We got the Glory Seeker, we got the Ashe. We'll lead out with the Ashe, but it should be tough Like, the cards that you have to start worrying about now are going to be like Karina. I don't think we have to worry too much about Karinas in this space, but maybe we should.
Sharpen the blade, secure the kill.
Sharpen the blade, secure the kill, bro.
There's nothing to fear.
We can't just be making a bunch of trades at this point, right? We're going to get outvalued to a degree, and we have these harsh winds in our hand. Let's just take this a little bit slow instead of trying to trade in on the Elise. I was trying to set up a turn to where we got in that like 5 damage last round with the Glory Seeker, but this is all getting to be a little bit out of
We must all make
out of reach. This could be bad. Oh, progress day. Ooh. Like, I thought things were good when we had our Katarinas and our Ashes, but now opponent drawing cards and stuff. Feels like we're definitely behind. Okay, not worried about Elise flipping. This is his 3rd one, and we can still take her down for free next turn.
my true beauty is beneath the skin.
Where's our big stuff at, though? We need our Captain Farron's. We haven't hit any Hearthguards. All of our expensive plays aren't coming to the party. Watch this. We're gonna do all this, and he's gonna drop a Karina on us now, and it's gonna feel terrible. This deck has to be playing stuff like that. It's so weird to me. It's like, I mean, it seems like it should have to have that stuff. Karinas or Ruinations or something. It's just so odd that it has like this control deck shell with the progress days and the card draw in it, but then also has like the Teemo package. I don't know. It's what we would have called a half-assed deck in Expedition, to where you typically want to be whole-assing one thing, but it's trying to do too many things at once. It's working out for him here, though.
Another day in the field.
Expensive card. All right, that's a start. That's a start.
Swiftly.
I think we can just take this Teemo hit. That's not a big deal. Oh. Let's get something out of our harsh winds, I guess. A little bit of something, a little piece. Could he have flipped his Teemo? I didn't watch that. No, he was short. Okay. You'd have to watch yourself with these Teemos, right? He hasn't flipped yet, and he has cards like Mushroom Cloud in his deck. You can take him to 0, and then he goes LOL flip and has 1 attack. So we'll have to watch out for that on future turns. That was a little sloppy. It just felt like he's probably getting, if we start to fall to like 7, and this game has gone on for so long, that he can definitely be in a spot to where he's going to just start dropping just dropping a bunch of burn spells at our face. So I didn't really want to take that full hit. It would also be nice to get this card draw out of the way before too many puff caps land in the deck. Mystic Shot Vengeance, okay. Give me a little bit of that draw too. Ancient Yeti in the party, and a Flash Freeze. Alright. There's our best friend. Welcome, Katarina. You are welcome. She should be out of burn range now as well. He's going to need a double burn spell to take her down. He just spent a Vengeance last turn. I like it, man. I like it. Here comes that Teemo flip we were talking about. We'll get the flash freeze on him before the big damage comes in. Things might have just turned. He says, "Uh-oh." Uh-oh. Bust doing shit now. I don't like that shit Bust doing. All right. Our Katarina just has to be safe now, right? If he's not going to do something in the middle of combat to just like protect the Elise, she has to be making it out of here. And if opponent's not careful, if he starts taking too much damage, we do have the blade's edges to the face, right? You don't necessarily have to just win this game with attack damage. The playing Katarina is just good for a couple points of damage every turn. Well, I guess we're still going in. Nothing? A nothing burger again? Interesting. No idea what could be in hand at this point. Just getting smoked over here and not playing anything. Okay. It's so strange. Why wouldn't he have done that on the first combat? All right, Spiderling. It's your turn for action, bro. Run on in. Has he played any cards off of his progress day yet? I can't remember. Probably did this out of order as well. We should have played the Katarina first. Now if he has a Ruination, we're kind of fucked, right? If we'd played the Katarina first, we would have been in a spot where we had the attack token and then could have just hit. And then if he killed, then we could have followed up with the Rhinefang Wolf while we still had the attack token. The Harrowing. Okay. Are any of these real units? Doesn't look like it. He's not playing. He's not playing like the Mist Wraith cards. But still need to attack. I want to be able to play Katarina next turn and pick up a rally. So she needs to come in swinging. Send a Blade's Edge to the face. Hopefully we don't have to deal with any more of this nonsense. Okay. Did the appropriate amount of butt cheek squeezing right there. In case you weren't familiar with the proper amount, you know, with the puff caps where they're at 1 point of damage a turn, you gotta worry about it a little bit, but you don't need to get a super serious squeeze on the cheeks. So just a little pucker's enough, you know. Not trying to make a highlight reel here, getting domed from 9 with 24 puff caps in the deck. All right, GG. Ooh, what a grind fest. A little bit sloppy in there, but able to take it down in the end. Was not expecting what came out of that deck. I was thinking it was going to be much more aggressive, but that's the thing with the Elise though, is she does have that kind of fits in any deck shell as to where She has a home in both control decks and aggro decks. Throws you off on occasion. But here, again, we just ban Jinx Draven. I'll be looking to play our Elise deck if he leaves it up. He does not, so we can just move in with Tryndamere. We don't have fantastic answers to the Fiora deck coming out of Tryndamere, but it does have some flash freezes and stuff in there. It has a little bit of game against what they're trying to do, whereas the Noxus deck doesn't have quite as much. Looks like a reasonable start. We got our answer to Zed, a big boy in the Outrider. The Outrider is the one I'm considering a mulligan on because, like, the way that this is going to sequence out, we're like definitely playing Omen Hawk on turn 1, and we definitely want to bank 1 mana going into turn 3 for the Brittle Steel. And if that's going to be the angle, then we feel pretty good about playing the Outriders on turn 4. The journey ahead is long, bro. What you got for us? A little bit of Zed. Height. Block. Make sure to say stuff like that, okay? Make sure you say stuff like that. Block. Is Rush still in this format? Is Rush in this? I guess it doesn't matter. He would have still died even without the... I was thinking if he had over one attack, we wouldn't have killed him with the wolf, but it's not the case.
United, nothing can stop us. Oh, hello there.
Hello there. Combat time. We might now be at risk of losing the wolf to a vile feast or something, but I'm okay with that. Bringing in the horses. I'm ready to block, bro. So the downside here, we may have ended up losing this one, but we can't Battle Fury next turn. Now that we've added the second wolf on the board, we may have needed to come in here considering, you know, how much can we deal next turn without the guy? I think we still would have been short. We would have had about 16 or so, but we probably just have to be on a full damage prevent. Now, it sucks to lose the Outrider, but if we attack the Greenglade duo and fail, then we're going to have a real struggle trying to win this game. Kind of want to save this archer for next turn. Let's see what happens. Let's drop a Bjerg first. He should still be a reasonable attack this round. Well. How the turns have tabled. Oh, he's throwing away his duos? Wow. Does he just have another Hecarim in his hand? He has to just be dropping another round of ephemerals if he's giving up that easy. Like, why do you give up on your Greenglade duo, though? Huh. Oh, I'll give a little bit of huh to that one. Well, this looks like a good board to me. You know, we got a couple of dudes to his 0. He's got a single Shark Chariot in the bin. All right. What you got for us, Jugger? Second Hecarim. So he's pretty much out of mana at this point. How do we feel about blocking Hecarim with a Battle Fury? And then we can't quite open next turn. But, I mean, no, that's too... I start envisioning these plays that just involve us playing Battle Furies, and I have to accept that that's not going to work. That's not going to do it. Okay, so... Oh man, these guys are big enough to just kill all of our dudes. Rough. Those are the easy ones. I don't feel great about falling to 1. We're just going to have to count on this Tryndamere next turn. So, if we're counting on Tryndamere, we have to put damage onto the Hecarim. So when he gets to block, we can jump through some of this with the Overwhelm. So it looks like we'll die to an Atrocity if this deck manages to play something like that. Otherwise, we should be in a pretty safe space with a 9-attack Tryndamere going into a 2-health Hecarim. No concussive palms to worry about these days. Uh-oh. He has an auto-conceded. Did we do it? Does he have 2 tricks? Uh-oh. Ooh, exacties. GG, my dude. GG. Look at that. Banned from Expedition. Welcome to the world, Tryndamere. Never stood a chance. What was worse, that Hecarim had to be banned from Expedition, or Riot couldn't figure out how to get Jace into Expedition during the special set release? I'm not sure. But both things happened. I miss Expedition, man. That's such a nice thing to look forward to when Riot says that they're looking to bring a draft format into the future, or limited format. I'm curious what that brings. But with these, we'll do battle with anything against Battle Scars. This deck's trash. The Ashe deck is probably the next most powerful one, and then this Katarina number, or Callista number, is probably pretty similar to what we just played against. But just in the event he feels like bringing Braum, I think we want to be doing battle with our Ashe deck here. It's so nice to opponent be like, hey man, look at this, I got a Braum, and you're like, cool, Calling Strike, right? You have a lot of very easy answers to him. All right, so hang on to the Yeti, hang on to the cheap plays, see what we can do. See how many of those Shark Chariots come at us. It's usually a little bit slower, a little bit more grindy when you see Callista come out. So I'm curious what we're about to get ourselves into. It's definitely ephemerals, though.
Can see the Demacian border from here.
Ashe is ready to party. We're just going to pass at this point. Not enough going on with our hand right now to really want to get involved. But we'll be looking pretty strong following up from this turn. And the kind of long game that we're going to be looking to play here is getting a kill 3 turns from now, 2 attack tokens from now, with just a big Ashe OTK. So ideally, we'll be able to come in and flash freeze enough of this stuff down to not really be taking damage. And then on that follow-up turn, we'll get an Ashe flip against a deck that doesn't interact very well.
These old eyes still see far and clear.
So the value in me wants to wants to save the Ancient Yeti for later, but he's going to be probably our only safe block this turn. Surprised he didn't add his other Shark Chariot. I guess he's saving it for the future, but able to do this now. Oh shit, that was a 5-attack guy. Oh man, that was sloppy. That was sloppy. Fuck. I hope we can recover. I was just like, oh, it's a Shark Chariot, it's a 3-1, and we should have definitely flipped those around. Well, everybody's doing whoopsies every once in a while. A little bit of a whoopsies. You could see how much better this would look if we had a Yeti on this board. We could protect it with the flash freeze, and then on the follow-up turn, look to come in for a big load of damage. There is some argument to try and flash freeze there, right? The Black Spear is fine, but he is able to take Ashe down with Vile Feast. So You can look to say flash freeze that guy so that she doesn't die in that way. But oof, rough. Black Spear gets her anyways. We're counting on you, Captain Farron. You're gonna have to be the primo source of damage. Like 8 turns from now. Maybe even 9, who knows?
Look out for reavers. Lightless signal fires. You can see the Demacian border from here.
All right, well, shit's going slow, but he's running out of cards. He needs an ephemeral pretty much every turn to really keep these things going. So, you know, progress and stuff. That's annoying. That's a way to get your ephemerals. He's definitely open attacking and definitely flipping here. Oh, if he doesn't open, this is so good though. Fine. I think this does look bad, but I think we can still get out of this.
Ready the torches.
Take the single 7 hit. Okay. Now we can try and wolf take down the Hecarim. Ooh, that's very bold. Has he got some kind of kill here? What is he doing? The Withering Wail. It's just like, he has to have another ephemeral in his hand now, right? Because if you lose Hecarim at this point, you're just so fucked. We just win with Ashe at this point? Can we get 20 down? Have 9 mana next turn. Ashe will be flipped. We're not going to be able to shoot down enough stuff, though. The interesting thing with Ashe is being able to present a crystal arrow on the following turn. Huh. We definitely just have to go to Captain Farron now, but right, if we got to say crystal arrow, well, no, the crystal arrow wouldn't do that much. Hecarim is just going to present too many units. Right, the crystal arrow is not going to hit all of the little guys. And he doesn't open. Beautiful.
Knocked and ready.
All right. So we're definitely doing this one. Blocks and blocks, I guess. Sure. Harsh winds. Okay. And then we should probably play around Atrocity. So we'll throw in a Brittle Steel while we're at it. Take 0 on the turn. Ready for Ashe to come down next round. You're feeling it, Fam Jam. I can tell. I can tell.
I'll lead us to victory.
Tell me, are you feeling it right now? You are. You are.
All the world on one arrow.
What's his next turn? Opponent's going to be like, LOL, the Ruination. Ah, I told you. I told you. Okay. But the life totals look reasonable. We have 4 cards in hand to his 0. I mean, I guess that's all you can really ask for in life, right? That's all you can really ask for. All right, all right. No ephemerals, please. Oh, it's so scary when you draw the can't block unit. Nobody wants to be drawing the can't block unit on the critical turn.
Victory requires a sharp blade.
Alright, well, it doesn't seem like he has anything. Doesn't seem like it. He would have just been snapping it off if he did, right? Vile Feast? Okay, okay. So no ephemerals just yet. Whew. Get back to squeezing them butt cheeks, boys. This one's got nasty. Got to dodge an ephemeral. There's a very real reason to want to take this spiderling off the board. If he's got a... Beautiful. If he's got a way to make it ephemeral and gets a big attack in next turn. Fuck. Well, I guess everybody's allowed to draw good. You know. Alright. Squeeze him again. I feel like our top deck should be better than his. I think we have a little bit more expensive stuff than they do.
Nothing escapes my watch.
Okay. Calling strike.
The homestead.
We got the answers, bro. He's got one card he hasn't been playing, though. It's worrying me. I'm a little scared. Okay. Okay. All right, he gets another shot at greatness. He gets another chance to make a draw here. Oh man. Oh man, how's it gonna go? Squeeze them cheeks for me, please. Okay. Now, we're not entirely obligated to bitch about that game since we did just throw away our ancient Yeti. As you see the life totals fall down that low, then you kind of have to wonder what would happen if you had a couple of more rounds with the Yeti attack. But you know, I don't think you can really complain about that spot when you have a life total advantage and 4 cards in hand to your opponent's 0. You do have to dodge them drawing ephemerals, sure, but we have so many decent draws there. That was a bit of a bummer. But, well played. GG, my dude. This the same guy? Sure is. All right. I'm okay with the same strategy. I'll run it back and feel okay about it. See if he wants to do battle against Ashe Katarina. He seems a little bit worried about the way previous game went. He says, "I'm scared, Bust. I don't want to deal with Ashe." What you feeling, dude? Are you gonna bring Braum Vladimir? No, nobody's playing Vladimir in the history of the event. All right, we gonna run it back, playing that mirror match again. Looks like it. Ooh, okay. So what do we got? What do we got? This isn't a real start. This is one that we can definitely get run over with. He's not playing Zed, so we don't have to worry about the Rhymefang Wolves quite as much. All right, let's just take a full mulligan. See if we can't find some early interactivity. Katarina turns up. Okay. Omen Hawk right on time.
Oh, hello there. Hey, what's that?
Clear that board. Oh, heck. So, I mean, he was playing more control-y stuff than I was anticipating, but I think that we're probably still just dropping Glory Seeker and then looking to Icevale Archer next turn. Like, if he has the Vile Feast, he has it. There's not a lot we can do about it. Probably not worth just sitting around trying to play around with this thing.
Sharpen the blade,
But
secure the kill.
get a big open this way. I'm thinking about just deploying Katarina as well. We ever want to do that? Like, we miss out on the Blade's Edge, sure, but the potential he has to interact with this board isn't super high. Like, I think I'm okay with trading the Glory Seeker with literally any unit in his deck. And now if we get Katarina going, that just feels spectacular.
Never know what killed him.
Nice. So how deep do we want to go here? We can, I think we can drop the Katarina and just take the trade with the Glory Seeker. I don't get amped about that. I think I want to do this. I want to drop the Sentry. If he's going to do stuff, he's going to do stuff here. It can't be too scary, right? He's not going to be flipping Callista on this turn. And then next turn, taking the Ice Veil Archer into taking the Flash Freeze into Callista lets us still follow up with Katarina and get nasty this way. Right? Y'all want to get nasty? Okay, so he takes down the Glory Seeker.
Does death follow me or peace?
So now with that in mind, our next turn, we'll just pass. Like we can look to bank up the mana and then Hearthguard next turn. We need to like build up just a little bit of board for this Katarina, I think. It's also kind of interesting with her and the opponent having access. He has a black spear. That's what just happened. Okay. Got it.
The War Mother will unite us all.
Oh, he only has one Shark Chariot. I thought he had two.
This is our homeland.
Okay. Thought he had two.
A true Freljordian welcome.
All right, not looking to play Katarina again this turn. Again, I think that this is going to be an incoming Black Spear. Let's just save her for next turn. We get pretty good combats across the board. So depending on how invested he wants to get, I guess. If he had the Ruination, he would have just played it. Okay. I don't know, fam. Seems reasonable. What is he doing? Ooh. Ooh, that seems tough. We can just Captain Farron now and try to win with,
Nothing escapes my watch.
is it 9?
For the homestead.
All right, there's the attack. I feel so much better now.
Stay back.
Take 6. Like, the thing is, he has the Ruination mana here. Okay.
Light the signal fire. You know, I'll end this.
So now if he wants to Ruination, we have all these Decimates. All right. Woof. Woof. The trial is not over. The battle has been won. I think that turn, we probably shouldn't have played Captain Fair, and I had in my head that we're not worried about the current attack because we could open attack next turn. I think that we should have just let that turn pass or let him play whatever he's going to play, and then just look to open attack, because he has the one blocker, right? And so he was at 4 with facing down 4 dudes. So he's the one that has to do something. He has to be presenting the answer to those 4 dudes. I think that's what we should have done, is just not played anything. let him, I don't know, he passed with 10 mana the turn before, let him play whatever spell it is that he has, and then we don't have to worry about getting like Vile Feasted out of a Decimate kill, although we should be able to double Decimate the next turn, but it's just a little sloppy, a little greedy the way that that went. Whew. But I was watching a stand-up comedy last night. There's I believe his name was Shing Wang. He was on the Netflix. Very humorous. Made me ha many times. It was well done. But it reminded me he was doing a what do we got here? So much of this this Hecarim deck. Oh, I don't think we worry about Ezreal. It's just another space to where we can play Ashe if we have to. But no, he was going on a bit about sleep apnea, and it reminded me of a thing that happened to me back in my youth. I can't remember if we were traveling to a PTQ for Magic or a PTQ for the Verse System game, but we were traveling to a PTQ for something, and there were like 6 or 7 of us. We were going in 2 cars, and we didn't book a hotel before we went. We just assumed that you just show up to wherever you're going, they're going to have hotels and you can get one. And so with that mistake in mind, I think we were going to Knoxville or to Nashville, whichever one the University of Tennessee is at. And so we roll up to a hotel and we're like, yo, 2 rooms, please. And they're like, oh, you're a dumb fuck. They're like, what? And they're like, the University of Tennessee is playing one of their bitter rivals. I forget who it was. It was Notre Dame or somebody. They're like, they're playing Notre Dame at football. You're not getting a fucking hotel anywhere. And we're like, oh, okay, well, thanks for the heads up. I guess we'll keep trying. And so we like drove around for a bit. We went to like 3 or 4 different hotels. They were all closed. We drove out of town like 30, 45 minutes, and we finally found one. And so as you could imagine, hotels at that point are either A, going to be super sketchy, or B, they're going to be pretty nasty. And this was the one in the nasty end of the spectrum. It looked like, if you wanted some drugs, probably a good place to get them. But it was not the nicest place. But whatever, we found a place to get you kind of like in tune with the quality. Is once you got into the room, right? Hotel rooms typically have just like generic pictures on the wall, like generic artworks of flowers or bridges and shit. This place had a Hillary Duff poster thumbtacked into the wall, and so that was kind of warning shot number 1 that this place was going to be a gym. But then kind of continuing on, I went and looked at the shower. I always like to take a shower before these events. I don't like being contributing to like the nastiness that is card gamers at conventions. And there were just like roaches everywhere in the shower. And so it was like, oh, well, I guess we're not showering today either. We're just calling it quits and gonna be done with the day. But that was, the kind of the scene. The piece, though, that really I got outplayed on was, you show up. There were 6 or 7 of us. I think there were 6, and there's 2 rooms. That means that there are a total of 2 beds in each room for 4. And what typically happens at these style of events are with 6 people, you might be in a spot to where you're just putting people on the floor, right? So you get 2 in a bed, 2 in a bed, 2 in the floor, and you just say, oh, well, tonight's going to cost $15 for the hotel. That's what you do when you're fucking 17 years old. But the offer that I was given is, no, you can have your own bed. You just have to share the bed with this other guy. And I was like, oh, well, that's a pretty good deal. I think I'm on board with that. And I should have known something was up, right? Whenever this group of gamers offers to say, "Yeah, man, you don't have to share a bed. You can have your own." That you're about to get smoked by something, and that is certainly what happened. The guy I was sharing a room with had sleep apnea, and I've never dealt with this before. I've never dealt with anybody that. Fuck this game. This one's done. I was worried more about back-to-back than Judgment, and this is the actual physical Judgment, but we might be able to get out of this with the harrowing, but I think we're just dead. But no, it's like I just wasn't familiar with it, and so if you're not familiar with sleep apnea, you essentially choke to death while you're asleep. And so, if I'm not going to make the fucking noise here, but if you want to imagine the noise that your body makes whenever it thinks you're about to choke to death, that's what happens, and you make that noise every 2 to 4 minutes because you're literally choking to death. And that was what I got to deal with for the night of sleep. And so got this fucking nasty ass hotel, just laying on top of the bed, trying my best not to touch anything. You got the roach shower, the Hillary Duff poster, and then my friend over here with the sleep apnea just fucking dying every 3 minutes. And it was a real gem. It was a real treat. That was what I got reminded of whenever old guy started talking about sleep apnea. And you know, we made it through. We got out of there at the end of the day. I took down that was a Marvel tournament, and I won that qualifier, and so we at least had that go in our favor. But the way life goes sometimes, man. All right, different lineup here though. I'm just gonna ban out his Ashe Katarina. That's probably the best deck out of his lineup. That lets us play Ashe against these things. Again, we're quite happy to play Ashe against any Fiora offering. And then the other deck does have Jinx in it, but I assume it's probably a little bit more off meta than these two. All right, let's try our best not to get blown out by Judgment as we enter battle here. Focus a little more on the game, a little less on story time. All right, so the idea with this matchup, if you're not familiar with it, surprised to see birds come down, is they're going to try and just get us with the Fiora. She's going to try an OTK, but we're going to come at the Fiora with our various flash freezes and calling strikes and the like, try and take her down before she can get the OTK in. And so you typically want them to make, you know, a little bit of investment. You want them to have to play some riposts and play some chain vests or whatever on their Fiora. But at the end of the day, we're trying to just shut down their big OTK plan. And this is a fine bank turn for us. Now it's kind of awkward for him to play Fiora. And then if he sends it back to us, we'll just pass it right back, right? We're feeling pretty good here. Are you going to be mean to our wolf? Nope. Cool.
Our strength is yours.
All right. Let's get all these stats on board and stuff. So the only kind of like worrisome thing here is I want to get this Ashe going. Well, not now, but we don't have a ton of interactivity on this board. But now that we have the two big boys on board, we're gonna be able to just throw stats at whatever is happening here. He has to. He's gonna have a time trying to OTK through these hearth cards. It's gonna be a shatter.
Nothing escapes.
Interesting. All right, though. I'm ready for battle now. Battle positions assumed. Let's do it. Is this where the riposte comes in? A riposte on the sentry to take down the Hearthguard? Okay. Flash freeze better. Surprised he didn't swap those blocks around so we get to draw the card. But I ain't mad. We're in a pretty close spot where we just OTK next turn with the Ashe and being able to double Harsh Winds and then just attack. It's a little dangerous against a deck like this because they do have stuff like Riposte, but what the fuck? This is not how you do it. This is not how you do it, fam. Like, he's clearly gonna have a trick here, but like, why would you directly attack the unit that takes down 0 power units. This is just like asking to go so wrong.
An auspicious season.
Okay, this is where we want to be though. Let him get really invested in this play. He needs a Radiant Strike or something now to get out of this Calling Strike, and the game should just be done at this point.
No going back.
No going back. Let's get him, Cat.
You
Garen turns up to the party.
And I have never seen you before.
Okay. I did my analysis. I don't believe we care. Well, the initial thought that I had is we'll just attack, we'll hook Garen with the Glory Seeker, and then we'll follow up with additional Katarina. That's fine. I started to look back and saw that we have the potential to Harsh Winds and play the Rhymefang Wolf, but
Stand together.
I'll cut them apart.
that doesn't sound awesome.
You are mine.
And then the thing that this play lets us kind of get around, well, he doesn't have mana for Judgment, I guess. I have Judgment on the brain after that previous game, but if you can counterspell a Judgment with a Harsh Winds, then you're going to be in a pretty reasonable place.
They'll never know what killed them.
They'll never know what killed him. Let's get him, Cat.
Remember me.
All right, fun spell number 1. what you got? Take heart. Okay.
Never going to fail.
Let's try this again. Now, with this sequencing, we now need to Blade's Edge in the middle of combat. We can't wait until after combat since Garen's going to flip here. If this combat goes wrong, Garen would strike, flip, have 2 health, and then we couldn't kill him with the Blade's Edge. Cool. Should be pretty out of reach for opponent now. He's just got to get so heavily invested in this board, and we just got all the treats anyone could need. The Katarina Ashe this turn should be enough, but sometimes you just need that 11-11 Captain Farron. Good stuff. All right, next battle. But yeah, that verse system game was interesting. That was the game from the Hotel Adventure. I think that must have come out about 2007 or so, something in that kind of space. And here we're just going to ban the Shadow Isle stack. In like 2007 or 2010, 2005, like something in that mid to late 2000s range. A lot of very prominent game designers worked on it, and it couldn't quite break through, even with like the Marvel IP behind it. It didn't make it, and I'm kind of interested in how Flesh and Blood turns out, given that they're taking the same approach that the Marvel game did. Marvel, instead of trying to capture the casual player base, they tried to capture the competitive scene and try to go after the competitive players, not the casual crowd. And so they had a big tournament circuit with a pro tour right at the start, and then they just didn't siphon enough of the competitive crowd away from Magic to really have it go down. And then in terms of the casual crowd, the consensus with the game was too complex. It didn't quite resonate. It wasn't an easy transition into the Marvel game, and so it felt like you were just sitting around doing math or something. And I think it probably like a reasonable comparison these days would be to something like Gwent. I think Gwent had a fairly kind of complex scheme. Well, I don't know. It was kind of like a lane game. Maybe like the what's it called? The Witcher game would have been a more similar comparison, but nonetheless, it failed. They had an online component that didn't get any traction either, and didn't make it. But I'm curious how it would like stand up now that that the Marvel movies all happened. This was pre Marvel movie, post X-Men, and so just so much more visibility into the Marvel universe to the common folk than when it initially came out. Okay, guess we're really doing this, aren't we, Kato?
Intruders, stay back! These old eyes still see far and clear.
All right, well, we've gotten a fair amount of damage prevention in. This is going to be a big Overwhelms deck coming at us. My main concern with this game is being able to get bigger, right? We have a lot of stats in our deck somewhere, and we'd like to acquire those stats to throw at our opponent, but we just need time to get there. We'll see if this pulls out like a Whirling Death or something. Does not. All right, maybe we can salvage some board with Scar Maiden Reaver and then go ham.
I have my orders.
Tremble before the winter's claw.
All right, well, we got a good blocker for old Darius. See how we can fight through here. We do have Battle Fury. I don't want to go crazy with it here and then just have our unit get flash frozen, but the Tryndamere pickup was fairly nasty. All right, next round. This is getting scary. The Shatter, though. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Captain, carve a path.
So we don't want Tryndamere getting into combat. I think he's the one that we want to limit at this point. Right? If Captain Farron comes in, we can block Captain Farron with Tryndamere and still have a pretty decent time. We still have decent blocks on Darius with our Scar Maiden Reaver. And just not wanting to get really involved in that combat. But we're going to have to be the ones to try and turn the aggression here soon. Ancient Yeti's a decent way to try and chase that down. Do we ever want to go ahead and kill this Tryndamere? Now, that's kind of interesting, right? Because if we come into this next turn and attack, say he blocks the Scar Maiden Reaver with Tryndamere, it would still overwhelm a single point of damage, to where if he's the 8/8 tough or the 9/9 tough version, he can just kind of block anything all willy-nilly. We probably just got to let him go. Okay.
Homestead. Our ranks fill the valley.
So we're gonna lose one unit to Captain Farron, maybe. We got to see if we can't just take this down with Battle Fury. Like, if he's got a Harsh Winds, then he's got it, but we're not gonna make it much further in this game. Ideally, he would play the Harsh Winds like right now, so we'd have an idea as to what we actually needed to take down. But let's see. All right, where do you want to YOLO? I think it needs to come in here. So if he has a flash freeze, then we do get to still have a Yeti on board. Now the next question will be, do we want to brittle steel anything? So if we brittle steel the Mighty Poro, I think we just wait here, and then maybe we get to follow up with Shatter somewhere.
Let rage fill your soul.
Okay. So, I mean, that is a decent board for us, right? It feels like we got the better end of that combat. No harsh winds was the big thing there. We're still safe from these decimates. He can decimate next turn and then flip the Darius, but Tryndamere is just straight bigger than Darius, so we should hopefully be safe in that sense as well. And ooh, the harrowing. It gives us a angle of attack for next turn, assuming we lose out on our dudes here.
Blessed by snow and stars.
Well, he's the biggest one. And so, why would you... Oh, okay. Yeah, I was like, why would you do that? Then I got confused. I think he was trying to protect his Darius from a damage spell, but it didn't quite work out how he wanted. Maybe he just wanted the stats for this turn. He drops the GG emotes. Do we want to harrowing? Like, I can't remember what's died, right? I think we need to save the harrowing for next turn. Bjerg has a lot of chances to draw. Oh, I didn't even think of the Bjerg drawing Tryndamere. I was thinking the Bjerg has a lot of chances to draw Ancient Yetis, which is a disaster. But picking up the Battle Fury is beautiful. Take what we want, bro. We can definitely get out of harsh winds now that we picked up the trick. Right, he's gonna block across the board and then try and harsh winds. Nope. All right. Oof. Ooh. Get in there, fam. His champions may have been alive at the end, but his life total was beyond 0. GG. All right. On to Prime Glory, the final battle, the last one. See if we can do it. I'm excited. See if we can't play some play the Noxus deck, right? We haven't been playing any Noxus Harrowings. Maybe we'll bring it out for the final battle here. See what turns up. If this gets to 90 seconds, do you have to play against the Porobot? it'd be interesting. I'm not certain how that goes. But all right, so what are we up against here? Elise, Darius, I assume that's some kind of aggro. Ashe, Braum. Again, I'm never banning out a Braum deck. These decks seem pretty trashy. And then Heimerdinger, Lux, which is, I think I'm fine to go against. This looks like the kind of space to where we're just going to play whatever our Shadow Isles deck is left up with. You could kind of lump Heimerdinger Lux into that Shadow Isles-y kind of space, except it just gets super smoked by the Harrowing, right? They don't have any real way to deal with it, and so sounds good to me. Not amped about any of this start, though. Let's see if we can't find something a little bit cheaper. Did not. Did not find anything a little bit cheaper. We got the big boy package here. All right. Rhymefang Wolf's here to save our curve. He says, I got you, fam. I'm here. I'm ready to block a Braum. He says, where's Braum at? I'm ready to party. Of course, Omen Hawk turns up now. All right, dude bringing Yetis. We cut the Yetis out of our deck. Said no thank you. We just need a little bit of time here. We can get the Outriders going. We can start to get our own Yetis on board. See how quickly he's able to pull down his own 5/5. It's probably immediately since we're in the final battle here, but we'll see. We'll see.
All the world on one arrow.
Okay. He doesn't necessarily have a Brittle Steel here, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a Brittle Steel come down. Nice. There's Big Boy.
We fight for one Freljord.
All right, just need a little bit more time. If we can come in and get some damage prevention happening out here, then we should be able to take this game over with the Harrowing. So let's shut down the Hearthguard for a turn. Leaving him at 5 health lets us now kill him with Ancient Yetis, and hopefully we can start to just get these expensives on board. All right, we're only going to have to spend 2 mana on an Ancient Yeti. We should be able to get some width. Now, the Ashe is kind of scary in terms of being able to just, like, cancel our entire attack. And this would have been really nice if we had a way to frostbite his Ashe, but that's the way it goes sometimes. So here, do we want to get double unit or just single? And I think I'm okay with single. Next turn, we can technically play 3 units if we need to. But this should be a pretty safe attack with the Scar Maiden Reaver. Not a ton of combat tricks that are going to interact with this guy. There's no Fury of the Norths in the game right now. The one that we would need to worry about would be a Take Heart, right? The Braum spell that he could now cast on the Hearthguard, but it wouldn't be enough to kill the Reaver. So, not a ton of worries there.
Bring me the calm of an ice-shrouded world.
At least he can still block for the moment. He's 1 Frostbite away from the Ashe flip and just hitting us. We might just get smoked here. We'll definitely be dead if he has a Harsh Winds or if he has a... ooh, he doesn't have anything?
Bold, aren't you?
Who goes there?
Now, would we rather just prevent more damage with the Outriders, right? We could technically just fall to 5, because we are getting in this spot to where it's not unreasonable to just play the Harrowing, right? We haven't lost too many big dudes at this point, so it's kind of off the table, but having the Outriders die just to come back almost immediately isn't that bad. I think in this space, though, we're probably just going to be, well,
Intruders, stay back!
we can do this. Dum Dum is going to flash freeze our Reaver. Well, okay. We can fill out the board. Let's just prevent that damage. But this is not feeling good. I'm pretty worried about this one now.
Snow and stars.
Yep.
My aim is
Could have just done that. Could have done that pre-combat and won the game, my friend. Do you know what would have been pretty good here? Me having 0 blockers. FYI. Little nugget. Little bit of the truth bomb coming right at you. Babbling Bjerg just doesn't do anything. This game is probably done.
Ancient things trapped in the ice.
Did not pick up enough stuff in the early game.
Can see the Devastian border from here.
But the key and big thing we would want to find here is a flash freeze. If we can flash freeze down the Ashe and get her off of the board. Just drew stone nothing.
I smell a fight!
Well, if we can get the crystal arrow out of his hand this turn, that should give us some opportunity next turn. It also fills in kind of a spot to where it doesn't actually hit our whole team, right? It doesn't hit the Ancient Yeti or the Babbling Bjerg. So they might find something on their own.
This is the power of an Iceborn.
Okay, then no real reason to attack, right? We can attack with the Yeti, but If we just trade with one of his 5/5s and then he plays another unit, then we're going to fall behind. What we're kind of hoping for on this upcoming turn is that, you know, he open attacks, he gets 2 flash freezes, but then we still have 4 blockers. And then with the 4 blockers, we can let a 2 power and a 2 power through, and we're only going to fall to 1. Well, he's got the harsh winds, but whew, that was brutal. That's kind of like that that game we had to play twice against the ephemerals earlier. I really kind of feel like if we got to play that match like a total of 10 times, we're probably winning well above the average win rate and hitting like 8 or 7 of them. But you know, sometimes you fall in that one space and lose out. So a little bit unfortunate. It's sad to lose out on the final battle, miss out on the prime glory. But this is why I recommend coming in and doing these, even though you have plenty of time. Right? Things can fall short. You may not make that last game. You're playing best of one and trying to take down that final battle, and it can of course fall the other player's way. So. Sad day there. Unfortunately lost, but I'm still pretty happy with our lineup. That was, of course, a pretty strict problem, and that we didn't really have anything until the mid game. We didn't draw any flash freezes the whole way. We're combating that Ashe on the back foot and really struggling. We had a Rhinefang Wolf on the board the whole game, but no flash freezes available. It was fairly tough. But nonetheless, again, I think the lineup is good. I think the strategy is good. We didn't play a single game of the Elise Darius deck, and that's exactly why we kept Katarina in the Ashe deck, right? We didn't have to play this whatsoever. The only time we intend on playing this deck is if opponent brings triple Shadow Isles and bans Tryndamere. We want to have access to the secondary Harrowing deck. But again, not very surprised that we didn't get this one on board. And then very happy with the functionality of the remainder of our lineup. Anytime that we had to face against Fiora and they banned out our Ashe deck, then we still had the Tryndamere deck with all the flash freezes in it. Anytime we played against the Shadow Isles decks, we had access to our Harrowings. And then when we got to luck into some of those matches, some of those mid-rangey matches with our Ashe Katarina, it performed nicely. And then when you run into that kind of gray area of do I want to play Ashe or do I want to play the Harrowing against the ephemerals, we did okay with both decks. And so, again, pretty happy with the lineup. We fell a little bit short there at the end, but a good run nonetheless. And so, man, I had fun with that one. I hope you did too, because that is going to do it for us today. And so I hope everyone enjoyed the video. I hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.